From Inc.com, this is the Inc. Productivity Tip. Expert opinions, valuable insight, and helpful advice from today's top business coaches, thought leaders, and entrepreneurs. How do fast-growing companies keep their speed as they scale? Well, in today's Inc. Productivity Tip, Tony Manganiello says the right systems don't slow growth, they make faster decisions safer. The Inc. 5000 celebrates something every founder wants: growth. But rapid growth creates a strange kind of a problem. Companies usually get there because they move quickly. Decisions happen close to the founder. People solve problems without scheduling 3 meetings to decide whether they're allowed to solve them. Then the company grows. And that means more employees, more customers, more money, and more ways for something to go wrong. So leaders add systems, like approvals, policies, reporting layers, and controls. Each one promises more consistency and more control. Most of them make sense individually. Collectively, though, they can turn the machinery built to support growth into the machinery that slows it all down. Now, Tony has experienced that tension inside a 3-time Inc. 500 company. He said growth doesn't just test whether your business model works, it tests whether your decision-making model can grow with it. Speed isn't the absence of systems. In his experience, the healthiest fast-growth environments are the ones where people understand what winning looks like, what authority they have, and when something genuinely needs to move up the ladder. Ambiguity creates its own kind of bureaucracy because people start asking permission simply to protect themselves. Now, the irony is that systems designed to make a growing company safer can gradually train its people to wait for permission before they act. Harvard Business Review recently examined the decision-making breaking point fast-growing companies often reach as founder-led, informal control becomes harder to sustain. The response is usually one of 2 extremes: centralize decisions to regain control, or decentralize them to preserve speed. And both can fail. Too much centralization creates bottlenecks. Too much decentralization can create inconsistency and drift. Researcher Tatiana Sandino describes a better approach as structured empowerment. The idea is to standardize enough for consistency, while preserving enough local autonomy for people to respond to what's happening. The goal of a system should not be to make more decisions for people. It should make more good decisions possible without requiring leadership to participate in every one. As companies grow, founders can unintentionally become approval machines. A customer issue reaches a manager who sends it to a director who brings it to an executive who asks 3 questions the person closest to the customer could have answered 48 hours earlier. Congratulations, you built a process. Also, you made the customer wait 2 days. What decisions can safely be made closer to the information? Now, that requires clearly defining decision rights. Start by determining which decisions belong to frontline employees, which should go to managers, and which genuinely require executive involvement. If everyone knows where their authority begins and ends, fewer decisions need to travel upstairs simply because nobody knows who's allowed to make them. Empowerment doesn't mean telling everyone to use their best judgment and hoping for the best. People need boundaries. Sandino's structured empowerment model includes giving employees a limited set of proven options for how work can be done, then allow them to choose the option that best fits local conditions. Now, that's a useful way to think about systems. A gate says, stop until someone gives you permission. A guardrail says, you're free to move quickly inside these boundaries. Define spending limits, establish when customer concessions can be made, clarify hiring authority, identify situations that must be escalated, then give people room to operate everywhere else. Good systems reduce ambiguity without eliminating judgment. Push decisions outward, and accountability must travel with them. That doesn't mean punishing every mistake. It means making ownership clear and creating feedback loops that show what's working. Who made the decision? What happened? What can the organization learn from it? Should that successful decision become a repeatable option elsewhere? Just as importantly, evaluate people on outcomes, not merely whether they followed every step of a process. If the guardrails are clear and the result is good, the system should reward sound judgment rather than train people to wait for approval. That's how distributed authority avoids becoming distributed chaos. You're not just giving more people permission to decide. Instead, you're building a system that gets smarter from the decisions they make. As the 2026 Inc. 5000 is announced, thousands of founders will be recognized for accomplishing something difficult: exceptional growth. The next challenge is keeping what made it possible. Start by identifying the decisions that keep coming back to you for approval. Then ask, does this genuinely require my judgment, or have I simply failed to make someone else's authority clear? Scaling shouldn't force founders to choose between the speed of a small company and the discipline of a larger one. The right systems should give them both. Because the best systems don't control more decisions as a company grows, they make it safer for more people to make good ones. That's all for now. This expert opinion was written by organizational systems consultant Tony Manganiello. For more expert opinions from today's top business coaches and thought leaders, go to Inc.com/lead. Be sure to come back tomorrow for another helpful tip from Inc.